The 2020 NBA season had everything you probably asked for and a whole lot that you didn't. It had scandals, injuries, and everything else under the sun. But it all wrapped up in a nice pretty bow as the Bucks took home the NBA Finals championship. But now, as 2021 season is knocking on our doors starting on Tuesday, we're here to discuss what's going to happen. And it hasn't even started yet, and the drama is high. So make sure to give this video a thumbs up or thumbs down because it's your thumb, and let's go ahead and get into it. One of the biggest things that are happening this NBA season is the NBA is cracking down on a lot of rules that a lot of athletes have been participating in since their beginning time of the NBA. They have some pretty big ones, but the top few that everyone are talking about are how the athletes can't bounce the ball in anger after they get a bad call or really do much of anything after they get a call they don't agree with that goes in their new Respect the Game initiative. And the thing that goes along with this as well goes into athletes throwing towels around or even just coming close and distracting a player on the court if they're on the bench. They're really cracking down on this policy and kind of want to, in a way, clean the game of basketball up, as the NBA has kind of sort of said in their own ways. The next rule and initiative they're really backing down to is the no leg kick out rule. As we all seen Steph Curry, Trae Young, and all the big point guards, or really anyone in the NBA, give their leg a nice little pop when they go shoot that three, but now they'll be called an offensive foul on that call. The next thing that they're cracking down on is as players are launching into defensive players. You've seen this 1,000,005 times before. A player will nicely launch themselves forward into a defender or step back a little bit to get that foul drawn on them. Some say that this rule is rewarding defenders who cannot control themselves and stay on the ground as shooters fake their shot. And one of the rules that I thought was really interesting that they're doing is they are cracking down on players veering off their path. As you see in this video, the athletes are literally going a complete opposite different way that isn't natural. And the final rule that is making a lot of attention is that athletes are no longer allowed to arm hook. And you've seen this 1,005 times. Defenders will kind of just throw a nice little arm around the person throwing the screen to slow them down so they won't be able to reach the next person. But the biggest thing coming into this new NBA season is the amount of storylines that are already created, and the season hasn't even kicked off yet. We're starting off with the two first games that they're premiering on Tuesday, which the first one is the Bucks and the Nets. The Bucks are coming off of winning that NBA championship, but it's also a rematch of that Eastern Conference semifinals game, also known as the game where KD's foot was just too big. We'll be able to see if the Nets can get revenge in a way on the Bucks, but the biggest storyline definitely coming out of this game will be if Kyrie will play, because we all have heard about the saga of Mr. Kyrie Irving during this NBA offseason because he won't get the COVID-19 vaccine, that he will not be able to participate in home games in New York. And the same law is put in place in California. So that means that Kyrie could possibly miss over half the season for his choice not to get the vaccine. And on the opposite side of the court, we have the Bucks, who are coming off of that NBA championship. And are they likely to repeat? A lot of people think so. They kept the core five of their team, but was that just a good shot in the dark? And did they just really get a lucky shot, especially because so many star athletes in the NBA went out with injuries because of the limited time they had between the past NBA seasons. In the next game that they have coming up after that is the Lakers versus the Warriors. And we'll be getting to see that new Lakers big three, or also as LeBron is calling them, the 360, which is arguably one of the worst nicknames ever. And how we should know LeBron definitely doesn't come up with those nicknames himself. But we have Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, Rajon Rondo, and LeBron all coming together for the first time. And we'll see how this dynamic will work because, as we all know, that is a very fierce all-star lineup. And We are in LA, but everyone can't be the star and role of this performance. And to go up against that matchup with the Lakers, you have the Warriors. And as they've came off a pretty disappointing season the past 2 seasons, but they'll be having Klay Thompson back, Steph Curry, and 2 of some of the biggest draft picks they've had in a while, presenting themselves in this new NBA season, and maybe they could actually get over that hump. And in Philadelphia, they have some of the biggest storylines coming out every week about Ben Simmons and their organization fighting against each other, basically. Because Ben does not want to play for the 76ers, and the 76ers really don't want Ben to play for them, but unfortunately they can't trade him. So they have $8.25 million in escrow account because that is the money he would make this season. But since he is not participating in practices and basically said he won't show up and ever play for the Philadelphia 76ers again, that is the money that he's losing after not playing every game. So will we see Ben Simmons on the court at all this season? And I would say one of the underrated storylines we have going on to this season is the Chicago Bulls, as they've added so many valuable players. They signed Zach LaVine to a new extended contract. They also got Alex Caruso, and they're a pretty loaded team, and they've already presented themselves very well during the preseason. And I think the Chicago Bulls are definitely a team we need to watch out for. And I'd say arguably one of the biggest storylines coming out of this NBA season is, can Cade Cunningham save the city of Detroit, as they are notably known for not being that good, especially in basketball, for the past, I'd say, decade and a half. They have basically given themselves the new savior, as he's coming in high off his #1 draft pick of last season, and he's ready to give the NBA and the Detroit Pistons a shot. I don't have much hope that young Cade can pull this off himself, but I'm excited to see what happens. They're bringing back the play-in tournament. The thing that a lot of people were very not excited about last season is coming back, and I think this is a great idea. If you don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to the play-in tournament, make sure to check out this video right here. I'll link it in the description and the cards where I talk all about that. But the play-in tournament got a lot of fans excited, including myself, because as we know, I was not a big fan. But I love the games. I love the excitement it brought to the season. And it's a great idea for them to bring it back for the 2022 NBA season. And I'd say arguably the wildest thing that's going to happen this NBA season is that the All-Star Weekend is going to be in Cleveland, Ohio. We all know the NBA is a flashy, lights, camera, action kind of league, and their All-Star Weekend's going to be in Cleveland. Now, no shame to anyone out there that lives in Cleveland or is a fan of even the Cleveland Cavaliers, but you all know what I'm talking about. So I'm excited to see how that goes down this All-Star Weekend, which will be February 18th through February 20th. Now that you know the big storylines and the big things that are breaking in this specific 2022 NBA season, make sure to check out this playlist right here where I break down every single thing in the NBA, so you are just more than notified of what's going to happen in this upcoming season. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified every time I post a new video, which are on Mondays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure to leave me a comment down below and tell me who you possibly think are going to win the NBA Finals this week, or who you think will definitely not even make it into the playoffs. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down, because it's still your thumb. And remember, don't be afraid to join the convo. Let's go, girls. Whoa.